check. Am I on? There you go. Hey, everyone. Just wanted to say hi. Maybe many of you were like, why did Kathleen get so quiet? Well, just to let you guys know, we're going to start our final hour sessions here. Feel free to hang with us, and we're going to get going in just about a minute, all right? Just so you guys know. If you want to see Kathleen. Oh, she just went off stage anyway, so that was a good timing. See you guys in a second. Boom, and we're back on final hour, guys. We made it to the final hour here in NADA 2020. And we're going to end this hour with some awesome discussions, keep the info going. Good to see you guys here. Hope you're enjoying a little bit of a rest from walking. Nice to have you here. Shout out to everyone that's watching home on the live stream. Always want to say hi to you guys. We're having a very special time right here. There's someone I really want to draw your attention to. You see this right here? Hireology. This is our platinum sponsor. We're really incredibly and happy for their support, and it's been an incredible thing. Hireology is in the house as well, so we have a couple of their representatives are here for this next panel discussion. So we want to say thank you to them, and thank you to all of you guys that have been participating. So let's get into it. This one's incredibly important. Bless you, by the way, over there. Bless you, buddy. It's all about the 20 groups. So you guys know about the 20 groups, right? There's a whole bunch of different topics. Folks get together. It's helping our industry grow more and more. There's lots of different topics out there, lots of different groups. This one is about human capital. It's about literally people, right? That is the capital, the most valuable capital you have, I believe, is your humans, right? So that's a really good group to have. So they're going to talk a little bit about all the different ins and outs on how you can nurture, good relationships, good employees, and what have you. And we're going to get into that. So why don't I get out of that way and let's get our group up here. We have a really cool panel. So let's get into it. First up, we have from our inside team right here, our very own Kelly Smith coming from NADA. And we also have Mr. Ryan Moffitt, who's from Walzer Automotive. He's the Director of Talent Acquisition. Okay, and we also have Mr. Adam Robinson from Hireology, of course, an incredible sponsor of ours and someone that we really look up to a lot. So let's give a round of applause to our folks up here. How we doing, guys?
Wonderful.
All right, man. So what's going on? Let me move this back a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. So you guys want to take a moment just to kind of tell everybody who you are, what you're about, that sort of thing? What about you, Kelly?
Sure. My name's Kelly Smith. I'm with NADA.
Yeah.
So we're glad that everybody's out here. I'm a dealer management consultant, and I do everything from our human capital group we're going to talk about tonight and dealer groups.
Awesome, man. Cool. Where do you live?
I live in Charleston, West Virginia.
West Virginia. Yeah, brother.
Absolutely.
All right. And what about you, my friend?
Yeah, Ryan Moffitt with the Walzer Automotive Group. Currently Director of Talent Acquisition for Walzer Automotive. Oddly enough, I'm not a traditional HR guy by trade. Spent 18 years in the fixed ops side, so I'm a former technician. So it's an oddball career path, but
How'd it happen?
A great company to work for, number one.
There you go.
I talk a lot, number two.
Yeah.
So that turns out that's a thing. It's important when you're supposed to connect with people. So it works. But yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, good to have you here. And what about you, my friend?
Yeah, hi. Adam Robinson, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hireology. We work with approximately 4,000 dealerships and with technology that powers the hiring process in this industry. So
they have a big breadth covering this industry. I'm sure most of you have heard of Hireology. If not, it's about time. I mean, it definitely is a powerful, powerful tool to help you build your business and really nurture employees and what have you. So it's great to have you guys here. So why are we here? We're here because the 20 group, right? The human capital. You want to just kind of tell folks a little bit about the group and kind of why we're here, and then we'll get into it a little bit more?
Sure. NADA looked around, and we're always looking for ways to help our dealers, to help them be more profitable, be more proficient at what they do. And one of the things that we kind of noticed was being kind of left behind was the human capital side of things, because it's so important to the success of our dealers. So we
don't want to leave the people behind, man.
No, because the people are so important.
Absolutely. So that's what you're focused on that. That's excellent. And then kind of what's the goal? What are you guys up to? What do you want to do here?
Well, with Hireology's help, we hope to get a group of HR professionals like Ryan in a room together to exchange ideas and talk about how to better to find talent, to develop talent, to retain talent, because we find that our turnover in our industry is too high.
It's very high. It is very high. Well, and well said. And you really want to nurture the people that are there, that are invested in the company and so forth. So excellent. So let's get. By the way, I will. I think in a moment. Actually, could you give me a hot mic when you get a second? Maybe bring me mic 7 hot whenever you can, just in case anyone has any questions. So you guys know we are going to be opening up for some questions. If you guys have any out there, feel free to ask. And listen, no one's more awkward than me, so you're all comfortable. We're all family. Don't just get on the mic. We'll be all good. All right, good to have you guys here. But why don't I get into just a few questions myself, and then we can kind of throw it to the audience or kind of just banter back and forth. So what about, let's go for Adam. So Hireology and NADA, right? So we basically was partners who came together about 2 years ago,
Correct.
from what I understand, right? So what was the deal? What was going on in the market? Why did this happen? You know, why did the collaboration begin?
Well, of course, NADA has been hosting 20 groups for decades.
Yeah.
And doing a great job helping professionals inside dealerships in similar roles connect with peers and learn from one another. You know, that's not new. What is new, in my opinion, is the elevated strategic thinking related to the human capital side of this industry. When you look at a dealership, 60% of the cost structure is people. We buy cars from people. We buy service from people. We implement technology in stores, but that technology is run by people. And this is an industry that's had its share of people challenges over the years. And so as we started to see progressive thinkers in automotive elevate the status of human capital and hire leaders into roles in automotive to drive strategy, to really drive people strategy, it became really clear both to NADA and to us that giving leaders in HR in automotive a place to go to collaborate, have their own 20 groups, and look at benchmark data that's meaningful to this industry, and to talk about what it takes to be successful as an HR leader and strategist in automotive. The time was right. We started talking about it, and for the last few years, we've, I think, successfully launched one group in another building right now, and we couldn't be happier with it.
That's awesome, man. So I guess I kind of want to ask you this, and then I'll come back to, I have some more, but I have a follow-up for you. So your Hireology, I mean, you can pretty much work with any industry, essentially, from what I understand, right? I mean, so how did you have to tailor the solution specifically to auto? Were there any bottlenecks there or any advantages, or kind of how was that process?
But the reality is that every employer faces a common set of challenges when it comes to hiring, onboarding, and retaining people. But the reality is also that this industry is just different. I mean, automotive is just a different animal. It's a massive industry.
Yeah.
I mean, a car dealership is 6 businesses under one roof, right? It's a retail operation, it's finance, insurance operation, it's a real estate business, it's a service business. It's all of those
They're
things.
friends, they're competitors. It's like everything, all in one thing,
it's bedrock families in communities that have been there, multi-generation businesses, and all those challenges. And it's working with automotive. I mean, you just don't move from every industry and decide to sell into automotive and have that work, right? So we made a choice early in our history to say, we care about this industry, we're passionate about it, and we're going to help dealers succeed with people. And so automotive retail, it's a special industry. And while the software doesn't need to be different, your approach and your service level sure does. It really makes a difference. It matters.
So the platform is pretty much, not ambiguous, but agnostic, I guess, as far as the industry goes, but the way that it's applied is different, is kind of the way that you would talk about it.
Well, there's some, when you're evaluating a service advisor, it's different from any job kind of position. The jobs are unique in the industry, so the way we screen people is different because it's automotive. The problems are the same, but the application, as you said, is different. And the mindset is very different.
Excellent, excellent. Well, hopefully we can dive some more into that. So then let me come on over to you, Ryan. So what got you so involved in this? Where did the passion come from? How'd you get it going? What are you discussing? What's going on with you?
Yeah, great question. So, for me, it is really an interesting group of people. I would say that one of the unique things about the group that I've learned in it is that it's a wide variety, and you've got people from different experiences. So I personally got interested and got involved and kind of got connected with Kelly here. But part of it for me specifically was being former fixed ops focused and service department focused. For me personally, it was a matter of how do I connect with my peers and how do I connect with people focusing on this realm and this data and this information to see who's doing what, right? We talked about benchmarks and we talked about what success factors each different business is seeing. And so, you don't really want to talk to the person in your backyard because we like to keep our success secrets close to us. But
the product in the
so it's
pocket.
exactly. But we got involved, or I got involved, mainly for that reason. Especially after talking to Kelly a little bit more about it to get an idea. But one of the really cool things about it is that a lot of the people in our group have maybe an HR background or a talent acquisition background and no automotive background. So you get this conversation, this organic conversation going from people that really know employment law and really know talent acquisition or really know advertising and different things like that.
Passion with it
absolutely,
too, right?
Absolutely. And you start comparing that, and not comparing, but adding that to the people in the room that were born and bred automotive, so to speak. And you really, really get this very, very fruitful conversation.
So what's going on with Walzer Automotive? So that's the group that you're, your director of talent acquisition. What are you guys all about?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
what are we all about?
Give me one sentence that defines your entire.
I don't even need a sentence. It's one word. It's people.
Yeah,
okay?
there
One
you
word.
go. You went above and beyond.
Maybe for the second word, efficiency, right?
There you go. Right on. But yeah, what's your operation like? What you have going on?
Yeah, so we're 26 dealerships between two states,
26
Minnesota and Kansas. And, like Adam said, it's multiple businesses under one rooftop. So looking for somebody that's going to be successful selling a vehicle, looking for somebody that's going to be successful selling service versus somebody successful with the very technical knowledge of repairing the vehicles are all very different types of candidates. But regardless of all of that, the focus on the people from the organization standpoint is to draw them in, is to train them, right? And train them is at every level. Train them is to get them from crawling to walking. Training is to get them from walking to running. Training is to get them from running to really be this polished, just a really, really high-performing individual. And how do we do that along each step of the way? And quite frankly, like Kelly had mentioned, the retention aspect of it, every stat out there would tell you that the longer you can keep someone, especially early on, the more likely it is that they are going to be a long-term employee for you.
Yeah.
The cost of bringing people in is high, as we know.
It's expensive,
especially in this market where the applicant economy is certainly in their favor, not necessarily employers, right? So it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and you guys are helping us kind of put it all together. So how did you guys meet here? How did the initial meeting actually happen?
We were introduced through, I believe, Hireology.
Through Hireology, actually, yeah.
Look at that, all paths go back.
Making the world a better place,
Making
man.
the world one friendship at a time.
We're all special.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So Hireology brought you guys together. So what's the deal? So you've been involved in a bunch of 20 groups, right? NADA 20 groups. What other groups you've been involved in? What'd you think about them? What made you get in this one? That kind of stuff?
Well, my background is as a car dealer. And I was a car dealer for 15 years and sold the store and was in a 20 group as a dealer. So I believed in the process. I believed in having peers talking about how to make your business better, how to be more efficient. And if you're more efficient, you're more profitable. And so when with Hireology and NADA, we started talking about this, I was very excited to get involved because I call a lot of dealerships hiring as a shotgun approach. Or panic hire. I need 10 people. I need them now. Can they fog a mirror, bring them in? And the problem is, in today's market, it is too expensive to do that. It just costs you too much money. So we thought getting professionals like Ryan together to talk about what their best practices are, and it helps everybody get better.
So how's it work? What do you guys do? You go get a dinner somewhere? You jump on a GoToMeeting? What are you guys doing? You go to baseball? What's it work?
Okay, well, the basic...
Catch a ball game,
Catch
talk about
a ball
hiring.
game, yeah.
Free hot dogs.
Little motorsports gaming or something. I don't know. What
There
are you
you
guys
go.
doing?
No, actually, this group meets twice a year.
Okay, so
And
twice a year.
Twice a year, and the group decides on the locations. And so we meet from, our next meeting is in San Diego.
Not bad.
In
Nice.
April, I believe, and we meet for a day and a half. We come in on arrival day, we have dinner as a group so that everybody can kind of catch up what's happened since the last meeting, and then we put out an agenda, and we'll meet for breakfast at 7:30. At 8 a.m., we hit it hard.
Yeah, going.
And we're
hit
going till 5 o'clock that night, and we try and bring speakers in. We try and anything that will help the group be better at what they do. Then we have another group dinner, kind of decompress for the day.
Yeah.
Get up and go till noon the next day, and then we all kind of go our separate ways.
Then you go do your thing.
But the most important part is it gives these people a group that in between meetings they can reach out. I'm having this problem. I'm seeing this trend. Is anybody else seeing that? And that communication can continue.
And what's really cool is I find, I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but I feel like when you get people actually in a room and you get them talking, it's the intangible things that come out. Like a lot of times you could have, oh, I got this whole list of things I want to discuss or whatever, but somehow the creative juices start flowing in a new way, and you really are greater than the sum of, what's the colloquial, what's the deal?
Synergy, yeah.
Yeah,
Synergy,
synergy,
right?
and you're
Synergy.
greater than the sum of your parts. Is that how, what other, stuff can we come up with? But that's where the magic really happens. And a lot of times it is over a dinner.
It is.
That's when all the stuff is going on. So that's also, so if people want to be involved in the group, what do they do? Is it do you haze them?
Yeah.
We make them buy dinner.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
us.
walk through a car
That's
wash
exactly
or something.
right.
Yeah, you may buy dinner.
No,
All right, that works
if
for
you
me.
want to be involved in this group, as Adam stated earlier, we launched one, had such great success. Now we've launched a second one. And one of the things that NADA is very, very conscious about is the competitive edge. So nobody in the group will be a direct competitor of anybody else in the room, because we want everybody to be very open and very honest about what they're doing. So what I would suggest is come by the NADA Pavilion. They can see me or
Nice.
any of the folks.
Where's
in the
that?
booth.
Where do they find it?
Right in the middle. It's
Yeah, directions around here
Yeah,
get a little crazy.
the
I'm
main
sure you
convention
guys-
hall, about row 3,000.
Yeah,
There
about
you
3,000, 320, 3265, I think.
Main aisle, can't miss it. A lot
Can't
of, lot
miss
of
it.
white
Lot of
leather
red,
furniture.
a lot of white.
Nice.
And come in and find and talk to us, and we'll get you set up.
That's awesome, man. Really cool. Really cool. If you guys want to be involved, and and what about in general, just the other 20 groups in general, if they want to find out more about that stuff?
Well, NADA, and I keep saying this, our goal and our focus is our dealers. They're our members, we belong to our dealers more or less. So we have dealer groups, we have every OEM, we have fixed ops groups where you have fixed operations managers can come in. We have CFO groups, we have controller groups.
You're awesome, thank you.
We've started multi-franchise groups, and basically what we're seeing is the change in ownership from individual dealerships to organizations like Walzer that are multi-franchise,
Yeah.
multi-rooftops, and they need a place to be able to talk about things that are specific to that type of an organization.
That's awesome, man. Let me ask this. Let's come on over to Adam. I mean, Hireology has insight into HR in a probably unprecedented fashion, I would imagine. You have to in order to stay as relevant as you are. Any forecasts, any trends, any changes in HR approaches that you see coming just kind of industry-wide, country-wide, macro, micro, however you want to go about it as we go into 2020?
Industry specific. I mean, the thing I see and talk about a lot is the change in the risk profile between employer and employee in automotive. So for
okay.
80 years, the employee, the team member has borne much of the risk of being employed. Highly variable pay plans.
Yep.
If you're selling cars, you're making money. If you're not selling cars, you're not.
You
if you're
die.
turning a wrench, you're flagging time, you're making money. If you're not, you're not. And so what does that incentivize? It incentivizes a mindset that is like, well, I'm going to hire you and I hope this works out, but it's on you. We are competing as an industry with every other employer in the market, and every other employer in the market thinks about this differently. I'm paying you for your time. And if I'm paying you for your time, the incentive for the manager is to make sure you have the training, the tools, and the leadership, the direction to be successful in your job. Because I'm paying for you to be at work. If I'm paying you for what you've done, at the end of the day, it's fully variable. The incentive structure is just not, I want to make sure every moment of your day is spent learning, growing, and being successful. It just, human nature, it's just not.
Yeah.
When you move to take the variable out of the comp structure, it changes the relationship. And I think that trend is one we'll see continue. So today, maybe 15% of pay plans are base pay hourly,
Yep.
85 variable. I think 5 years from now, you're going to see that look like 50-50. It's going to change the nature of employment relationships in this industry. And it's going to be required or we're not going to be able to staff.
So a little disruption, probably another disruptor coming around. On
Well, the market is going to disrupt it. It's not our choice as employers. It's just not
the
our
market,
choice.
Yeah, you just follow
Right.
the orders of the market. It literally is
That's
the way
correct.
it goes. That's
Our
really,
choice is whether to hear it and work in advance of what we need to do, or put our head in the sand and say, this too shall pass. It is not going to pass.
It's not going to pass. It's coming. It's just going to grow exponentially. So Ryan, everything isn't always unicorns and rainbows in this life.
I don't know. I have a pretty good team of people, so
Yeah. So you actually have you got a lot of unicorns around you and stuff. That's awesome, man.
We do.
But
You are talking to a unicorn.
literally, I finally met a real unicorn. Yes, dude, this is. I went to Vegas and met a unicorn. You guys see that? It's freaking awesome. So I guess I'm just saying that to ask, are there some big challenges coming up for 2020? Are there any headwinds? Any things we need to be on, extra alert for when it comes to human capital, HR, hiring, retaining, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think a big focus, honestly, a big focus for us is, matching the people to the business. How do you tell the story of what employment looks like here, right? So not just a matter of, some of the basics, here's your comp plan, here's the benefits, things like that. You got to go well beyond that to try and bring what it looks like to do this job and what it looks like to work here. You got to really take that to the people, so to speak. A prime example is, we had a hiring fair here just a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of who we're seeing apply to our sales roles in the last, 12 to 18 months roughly have been career changers, right? So not necessarily the fresh out of college or not necessarily this very specific profile, but we're finding a lot of people that are saying, you know what, I'm ready for something different. So how do I bring that to them? One particular candidate, he showed up to the hiring event and he blew us away, and he was kind of laughing a little bit, saying, I really honestly was not expecting a job offer. I thought this was just a meet and greet, right?
Yeah.
So it took a lot more time to work with him. I was on the phone with him the next day. Turns out he didn't live far from our dealerships, and I just said, Marius, I'm going to come get you, all right? Like, let's go look at the dealerships. I'll show you around. You can see what it looks like, right? So we met.
You're spending time with these people. Like, you're putting in some time.
Absolutely.
Man.
Well, and it's not just this is a kind of a unique story, right? But getting him there and having him say, wow, I've been in a dealership 100 times, but only ever to buy a car.
Yeah.
And so I walk in.
Totally,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready when I go in,
right?
too. I'm in the industry. I have my guard on. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
absolutely. So he walks in and he says, it looks completely different when I'm looking at it from an employment standpoint.
Ah,
It looks 100% different. How do we bring that message to the people kind of without them asking, right?
Yeah,
That's the question. So how do I get more video content to them? How do I say, look, a big thing for us is video content when we're trying to sell a vehicle, right? I want to make sure that I get it to you as a consumer online, right? If you give me a quick live chat saying, hey, I'm interested in this vehicle. I see it's all-wheel drive. I see the list of features here. Can you also tell me some of the details? Like, it's a used car. Was this one smoked in? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Like, the people want some of this detail before they're ready to show up. So we're trying to deliver them all the information on the sales side kind of before they even get there. How do we do the same thing on an employment side, right? So, hey, by the way, here's a quick video. You applied to this job. Here's a quick video. By the way, my name's Ryan. What I would really love
I like it.
is for you to just send me a quick video. Tell me why you're interested in this job, right? Hey,
Awesome.
it's a video connection. Everybody's on their phones. How do we bring it to the people more? And that's really our big focus in 2020 is specifically from the talent acquisition side, right? When you look at training and retention, it's an ongoing amount of work to really connect with all the people on a daily basis. You know, the recruiting side of it is a much shorter shorter burn, so to speak. You know, but it's a pretty steep hill to climb really quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing how, like, the amount of nurturing that you're doing from the beginning just all the way through. So, like, in the middle game, I would just open this up to any of you guys. How is that, so once you've onboarded someone, okay, you got them in, you want to make sure you're retaining them. What is that nurturing process like? Are there any best practices? Is there anything specific proprietary to Hireology, or in general, just general ideas and ideologies to kind of, lock that down?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the question that everybody tries to answer constantly, right? So the nice thing is that through Hireology, through the NADA 20 group, we're getting more and more data, and we can also start to compare ourselves to each other, right? So I know what my turnover rates are, I know what my 90-day rates are, I know what my 3-year rates are, things like that, and I can start to compare to other dealerships that are like me, right? The great thing is once they're in, how do we focus on using the data, right? So, and this is industry wide, right? Not just automotive, but like all over the place, right? Basically, if we can get them past 90 days, right? I'm taking a chance on you as an employer. I'm taking a chance on the industry potentially, taking a chance on a career change potentially. If I can get you past 90 days, I've got a pretty good chance you're going to be there for a year. If you're going to be there for a year, data and statistics would tell me that you're probably going to be there for 3 years. And let's be honest, if you're there for 3 years, if you leave after that, there's got to be a pretty big issue, right? I mean, most people aren't going to give a 3-year commitment to somebody if it's terrible, right? So how do we focus on the data points? How do we focus, and we're lucky enough to have a pretty good sized support structure within our company. We're lucky to have ownership that really invests in that heavily. So how can we as a corporate entity then also support all of our leaders individually to really wrap their arms around the people joining the business, right? How do we say within your first 90 days, we are really, really, really going to walk through this with you and really be right by your side so that we can get past this really, like, kind of terrifying 90-day mark of this is where the worst statistic exists.
This is the crazy stuff. Yeah, it's a scary time, and for the employee themselves as well, because it's new expectations, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of things in play. So I've been given the wrap it up sign because we have a couple more things coming up. But so if we want to just really quickly, what does nurturing mean to you, Adam? If you can do it really quickly, just what is
in an employment situation?
What's
it
mean to you? Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
A long answer to that. Performance management need not be an emotional process. If you set expectations up front and obtain commitment, when those expectations aren't being met, it's not an "I don't like you, you make me mad" conversation.
Right.
It's a "let's talk about what's happening and how I can help support your success" conversation. And nurturing in this industry is about setting expectations and helping someone meet or exceed them.
Awesome.
That is what it's all about. But it starts up front with setting those expectations. And I would argue that starts in an interview. That starts before the hire's made.
That's right, and it goes all the way through from what.
Because if those are expectations I'm not interested in meeting,
yeah,
I'll quit before you hire me.
Yeah, you got to quit before I hire. Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I wish we could keep going with this. We could get into some best practices. We could learn some tips and things that can help us in our own, HR and everything that we're doing. But unfortunately, we've got so many interesting things. We have to keep it moving. So why don't we give it up, ladies and gentlemen? We got Hireology in the house with Adam. We got Ryan over here, Walzer Automotive. We got Kelly, NADA. This is our crew. We appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you.
Much love to you. Have some fun in San Diego.